So I wanted to go through some before and after results from a recent jump analysis I did here with Arthur up at the Athlete Matrix in Toronto. Let's watch the left-hand one here. This is our before test. We had a test jump height of 9 foot 11 and a half. Okay, let's go back here. We'll kind of just play around. I didn't mean for you guys to get a sneak peek at this one here. This is our after, but let's take a peek at some of these positions and the outcome of the jump. So as we are accelerating through this approach, kind of out of the gate, what I noticed right away was Arthur was having some difficulty managing the center of mass. And as he leads himself through this stride, we get this push, but we also get this leading of the jump. We get a dive, as we call it, which is this collapse through the torso. And the reason we don't want to see a collapse through the initiation of a penultimate is obviously we take the athlete's center of mass and we kind of dig ourselves a hole, which is as this plant contacts the ground, as the body keeps amortizing power, we get a shifting of the center of mass over top of the foot. But more importantly, in this case, is what we're getting is a longer ground contact time. So for every degree of flexion we have at the hip, we need an extra bit of time, obviously, to be able to unravel. And what I mean by unravel is taking the body from this flex position, let's use this straight line here, and opening it up into vertical for takeoff. Obviously, we can't take off until that body reaches a vertical position. So we've increased that ground contact time. And he's also decelerating, losing some speed. And as you can see here, the jump itself is definitely lacking potential. So as he comes through here, things are a little bit disconnected in terms of what's happening with the initiation of that penultimate stride. So that's what we did, was we worked on being able to initiate that penultimate with a little bit more aggression, and then getting a little bit more aggressive with that block and actually punching that block foot to the ground. So let's take a look at the after here, and we can kind of pay attention to the position through the push. So as he transitions through that push, look at what's happening here is we're getting very tall through this stride. You can see him opening up versus this other position here, and we get that mid-flight. We're a lot more forward in that position, which is also causing, if you can see as well, the neck, in this position of his neck, to be a little bit more hinged. And what we know about the hinging at that kind of C4, C5 position of the neck is that it switches off some of the neurological sensitivity of the shoulders and can dampen the effect of the arm swing. In this position, because he's a lot more upright, what you'll notice is that he's less hinged, which means that not only are we going to have an optimized ground contact, we're also going to have a more powerful arm drive, and as such, a much more efficient impulse created on takeoff. So we have this position created. He's able to punch. Look at that position of the block versus here. We definitely have more braking forces being created through this position, which is going to, again, attribute itself to helping propel that athlete, which is kind of counteracting the acceleration. Versus this position here, the block is applied. We have less braking force, not quite as dramatic in that case, which means that his center of mass, the body, everything is going to continue to rotate forward, and we're not going to get that same takeoff velocity. We're not going to get the same takeoff efficiency by any means, and that's why we're drifting and not quite getting that same height of contact. This jump on the left here, this first jump was probably his fifth jump. He had a full warm-up, and this was where we maxed out. The jump on the right was after a kind of a neurological preparatory warm-up, this PPA warm-up that you guys can check out on the YouTube page as well. But what we see here is, from a positional standpoint, a lot more efficient, and then obviously from a outcome standpoint, I mean, let's see there, these vertex are set up identically, so we're going to transition over. Let's get the peak of that jump. Let's just take kind of this little snapshot. And the peak of this jump, obviously we're a little bit further away from the vertex on the left side here, but you can see that we are a great deal higher. So he's able to touch 10'3" on the right, and the initial test was 9 foot 11 and a half. So we had a 3.5 inch difference. It's a noticeable change in position and a much more noticeable. Let's kind of play this one through full speed. Watch the right hand side. Good. And you can see how excited he is. Awesome. Hope you learned a little bit there. Leave some comments below if you have any additional questions, and we'll see you in the next one.